Remember, a judge just said that Stormy Daniels owes Donald Trump's attorneys hundreds of thousands of dollars. They just upped her fees because of her phony lawsuit. All right, so they met in 2006. No affair, by the way, I am convinced. But what's more important, why is the mainstream media concerned with this and not Hunter Biden's trip to China with his father, the then vice president, and had a meeting with all kinds of important people in a lobby in a hotel, a major industrialist who went ahead and, well, who knows what kind of arrangements were made. The whole thing stinks. And I know our next guest knows it. Eric Eggers, he's the Vice President of Research at the Government Accountability Institute. Welcome back, Eric. And you got the great podcast, the Drill Down podcast. And I want to get to the Hunter and his latest venture. But first, your take, please, on this whole indictment scam.
Well, I actually think the issues are connected, Greg. And I think anybody that's paying attention should see the incredible double standard that's happening in the halls of justice, or at least in a hall of justice, in the Soros-funded hall of justice in New York City. You've got Donald Trump being accused of somehow, some way using money. I think they're saying it was meant to disclose or dissuade the election. It's electioneering in some sense. So he's in trouble for that. Meanwhile, Hunter Biden and the Bidens, who've taken active measures to conceal their active business interests with China, and with the help, by the way, of the FBI and Twitter, that's not just not being prosecuted. They're being celebrated in cultural cachet in New York City. So it's profane. It's profoundly disrespectful to anybody with a sense of justice. And I'm glad programs like yours are talking about it.
So, look, what about the people you work with? I mean, the people in the Beltway. You don't work with them, but you know the types, journalists, they lean left. They have got to see this. I mean, they know now that the the Oversight Committee has established $3 million came from China to that Biden associate, and at least $1 million. This is the first sliver, but at least $1 million went to these three cats from communist China, and there's so little interest in the media. First, they denied it. Then they said they did business but made no money. They've confirmed that they made money. Hunter Biden's lawyers did that. How can they not be pursuing this? How do they justify it?
Yeah, I think it's even worse than that, Greg. Actually, on our podcast, one of the things that we reported on was that we've seen internal emails where money has come from China, not just to these three Biden associates, but money's come from China and other countries, by the way, into these Biden centers, one at the University of Delaware and one at the University of Pennsylvania, where that then funds Biden family activities. And we've seen emails where the Bidens, including Hunter, are actively discussing ways to keep Joe Biden's name off of the documents in an effort to conceal the nature of the arrangement. So it's absolutely the kind of thing that if you change the last name and you change the political party, I think would be leading primetime news across the country. But you're absolutely right. The people in the Beltway, people that have a sense of anything but Trump, and so the ends justify the mean, they're going to actively ignore the story.
Well, what a really corrupt, crummy system. I'm really surprised. It's a juicy story. At least they should be attracted to that. I mean, the curiosity. But Joe is potentially losing his viability. Let's face it, he's declining. Democrats know that. They got a big problem on their hands. Do you think he's at all nervous about any of this, or is he that secure that the swamp is going to protect him?
Well, you have to be pretty self-aware to be insecure, right? And so if he's declining in a cognitive faculty standpoint, as a lot of evidence suggests, he might be just fine, right? He might be waiting for the next episode of Matlock to come on. So I think that he's not necessarily overly concerned, nor should he be. I think Democrats are not the type to knife a sitting president in the back, so to speak. So I think, especially with all the help he's getting from the mainstream media, with all the help he's getting from a DA in New York City who's indicting the previous president, with all the help he's getting from social media, why should he be worried?
Eric Eggers, who could play Hunter Biden in a movie, don't you think? I mean, it's kind of amazing.
Well, hey, Greg, just remember, we both have great tans. We both hate taxes. So
I'm not the first one to make this observation, I don't think, right?
You are, but I was ready for it this time.
All right, never mind. All right. Sorry, I thought it seems obvious to me. Look, do me a favor. Go get the Drill Down podcast. It's fantastic. And the Government Accountability Institute. Great work you guys are doing there. We appreciate it. Thank you very much, Eric Eggers.